reminder.
Okay, so welcome everyone. It is October the 6th, 2023, and we are working with the solar plexus chakra, and which is connected to the fifth dimension, to the blessing of virtue of joy, and to the law of give and receive. So we continue on with the blessing and virtue of joy in this class. And I'm going to set the timer for 45 minutes so that we do that much time. And then we're going to send love or joy or whatever we've learned out to the collective for 10 minutes. So let's jump into the slideshow. There we go. Okay, so let's just go back one. Let's see if I can go back one. Oh, it's not letting me. Anyways, well, we're gonna jump right into the blessing and virtue, divine quality of joy. And usually I do the title page first, but I can't go backwards for some reason. So this is the definition of joy, channeled through Linda Dillon, connected to the Council of Love. And the definition of joy is to be fully thankful, grateful, and one with the gift of life, purpose, and spirit, to be a reflection of the perfection of the creation of self and all, to live in and remain with the heart for all time. Joy is the color of gold. So you can see I've got some golden images here. There's the gold of the tri-flame. We're learning to anchor more deeply into the heart. That's the lily that Archangel Gabriel is part of her being. She is called the lily of love. And often I think her lilies are more white. But yeah, just some ideas. The bumblebee is also, the color of the bumblebee is very much connected to joy. And just think of joy as how even the symbolism of the bee is a part of joy, and that building of community. Bee is a symbol for community as well. Okay, any questions about this definition? No.
And also gratitude for sacred purpose.
Yes, absolutely. Grateful. It sort of says it here, grateful, the gift of life purpose, but yes, gratitude for sacred purpose, very much connected to joy. Okay. Oh, for some reason it won't. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, so this is Archangel Gabrielle. We're just continuing on with the channeling. And she says, you do not create successfully. It does not stick, as it were, if you do not stay in the heart of joy. The other thing is, you do not get earthly, humanly practical about practicing joy. You get enmeshed so often in what isn't bringing you joy that you forget every day minimally to do things that do bring you joy. So we do tend to get caught in what's not working. So she says, practice focusing on what brings you joy. And then she says, yes, often too many, I have given the very practical prescription for joy. 15 minutes every day in human reality, not in meditation, not in bliss, not out of your body, but in your body, in physicality, doing something that brings you joy. And then she gives some examples, such as simply staring at your sleeping child, looking at old photographs, looking at pictures of beautiful places, music, bubble baths, memories. She said, you do not take enough time for these. And when you do, it reignites your joy, and it does spread. It infuses your entire being. 15 minutes of real joy in the physical is enough to carry you the entire day, and it will simply build. Yes, Leanne.
So I love that. And I'm just curious what everyone does.
Yeah.
15 minutes. No, I mean it on the call. Like, what do we all do for that 15 minutes of joy that's not meditation and that's not yeah, that's not out of body or whatever, or not being in stillness, but doing something like different. So I'm just curious. Does anybody have?
Yeah, I'm spending 3 days in the hills, in the mountains there. So that's joy to me.
Of
3
course.
days worth. That should keep me for a couple months.
Love it.
Very nice. But is there anything, Darren, that you do like 15 minutes every day that you like do you go hiking every day or walking every day?
Well, I don't every day, but I do fairly often. I go for walks. And that would be more than 15 minutes there, because usually they're at least a half hour.
And would you say that's your joy? That's what you do to create joy?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm usually go to a park, and out in nature. So, that is joy to me right there.
Okay, that's good. I'm trying to think what I do every day, 15. I mean, I love a hot bath. I love that. But I don't take a bath every day. I love being in the kitchen, just making food, like especially if I'm making it for somebody else. But I don't know. What do you do, Leanne? What do you do?
Well, I definitely do I would say more than 15 minutes, going to the trees, to the, walk. I walk into the forest every day.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, I notice a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I miss it because I've gone to do something, whatever, my schedule doesn't allow it in the morning or something, I do notice a difference. Trying to think what else I do. Like, I guess I write every morning, probably for about 10 minutes. So that does help, but that's kind of
Is that intentions? Or is it?
I just do like I am statements.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll do gratitude. Usually I do gratitude at night, though. I found it works better for me at night. But and then sometimes I'll just journal about my dreams from the night before. So those two things, I think I thought there was something else, but those are the things that come to mind. But the forest is definitely the big one that has that effect on me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that she doesn't say outside. It's all inside stuff that she recommends. Interesting. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess those are just examples, though, don't you think?
Yeah.
I'm curious by this. I love this. This is so, yeah.
Yeah. And it works. We know it works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lillian, do you do something for 15 minutes every day?
Oh,
you play with your keys.
I love to read.
Yeah.
Ever since from the time I could read, when I was like, I don't remember when I learned how to read when I was little.
Yeah.
And I went to the library, and the librarian let me take out anything I could take out.
Yeah.
And I always read like novels, because novels let a good author of a novel takes you places in your mind that you could go anywhere. And if they're really good at what they write and know what they're writing, in your mind, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so they can take you to a country that in your body, you may not be able to go, but in your mind, you can go all sorts of places and you can learn all sorts of things. And so every day I read.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Ken, do you do something? And you play with your kitties too. That's pretty joyful.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Our kitties were being little stinkers. You know, one of our kitties just started running around for no reason.
Yeah.
And I can always tell that they're really happy when they do this.
Yeah. Nice.
And so, I tried to catch up with him, and he was having none of it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's so simple what we can do to bring us to joy. And Darren, you've got your hand up. Did you want to add something?
Oh, did I have? I can't see my hand there, but I guess, for indoor stuff, I would also, be much the same as Lily, and I like to look at beautiful pictures of, foreign lands, or, the NASA pictures, or deep sea pictures, or anything like that, anything new and unusual and beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. Well, we can see it's very simple. It's just a matter of making sure we do it. Okay.
In
Great.
my case,
Yes.
I have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay. So she's saying, remember who you are. Do not go screaming at heaven. And I'm not saying that I will not help you, because there's nothing I would like more, but do not wait on us. Begin, my beloved ones, because I am here to remind you, you did not choose this mission and purpose, this journey, out of a sense of obligation, of I must, I should, I better. No, you chose it because it was the most exciting, fulfilling offer on the table, and you jumped at the chance. You did not say, all right, mother, I'll go again. No, you turned to each other and you said, this sounds like a blast, let's go. And of course, I was right there with you. So yes, remember the truth, because in that truth is your being is the joy. Yes, Darren.
Yeah, I remember what I had my hand up for now. It was that point made a couple slides back where it said, you cannot create anything unless you do it from joy. And I think that's a very important point to remember.
Yeah, what at the very top of that, where is it? You do not create successfully. It does not stick, as it were, if you do not stay in the heart of joy. And I think, see this little anchor here? We're learning to anchor more and more in our heart. And there she says to stay in the heart of joy. And we know that joy is in the heart because it's the golden flame of the tri-flame. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. Okay, so, and she says, remember that we all wanted to come. We didn't know it would be quite so difficult, probably. But we all wanted to come. And that's the truth of it. Oh, yeah.
Definitely need to be reminded of that.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so then this is Graham, and he says there's an exercise here, a relevant and important opportunity for us to let go of the old, let go of that which doesn't serve us, stepping away from drama and conflict, those things that compromise our state of joy. We have the power to create that which we experience. And he says, I'm thinking about the societal distractions and the norms that many of us, certainly in Western culture, are faced with every day. And it's easy to look around and say, this is overwhelming with struggle, and how can I feel joy? Yet I also want to help us connect to, maybe you can help me remember, the community I'm thinking of in Africa, Archangel Gabriel. There was a video I saw about a community in Africa. It might have been South Africa, very simple village at first blush. One could say they don't have anything. They are living in huts and didn't have much for clothes. And yet they were identified as some of the happiest, joyous people on earth because they had community. They had such great love. They had found in their station in life, in their simple lives, such richness and the connection to each other, to the earth. Meanwhile, a lot of us in Western culture are trying to sustain these norms and these expectations and muddle through these distractions which in many respects really aren't feeding us and aren't bringing us joy. We have the power to step away from that. And Archangel Gabriel says that is absolutely correct. And yes, it is, the community is in South Africa. Let me say the joy is not only outrageous, but courageous. And let us use the example of this small tribe of what many would think of as a primitive, and perhaps is one of the most advanced civilizations on your planet. I speak about the courage because when one of them loses their joy or missteps, there is the acknowledgement that not only does it affect the individual, but the collective of the tribe is also immediately affected. So the tribe, the community comes together to heal that individual and to help restore that sense of balance, of rightness, of joy. So often in your community, and I'm speaking of the Western world in the broadest sense of the word, you will hear people say, well, I don't see that person anymore because it's always a downer, or I don't do that anymore because it just brings me down. So she's saying that individually, if one person's down, it affects the whole. And I think she's wanting us to like face into what's going on, because sometimes it's a mirror. You know, if somebody's not doing well, neither are we inside. It's like a mirror. So it's good to have the courage to go in and check to see if if there's anything we can do for this person that's not feeling so great. Yes, Darren.
I think that would be such a beautiful practice if we could adopt that somehow, to come together and help the person restore their joy.
Yeah, well, I know I've had a lot of practice. I mean, with my next door neighbor, the older lady, the Greek lady that's beside me, sometimes, it's there's a lot going on there, but I do try to go, make sure I go. And I think Lillian, you have a neighbor too that's in sort of a similar position. Yeah. Yeah. So even anyone that's around us, especially our neighbors, no, Jesus, what was it that Jesus said? Love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah. Isn't that what he said?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think there's great wisdom in that, because often it can be a reflection of what's going in us. And then it's like a heart opening for both people when we face into it. Okay, so let's, yeah, Ken?
Well, our next door neighbor has lost 48 pounds or something like that. And so she was telling me just how much she had lost the other day. And you could just see her light up.
Yeah. I agree. Same with when I go and spend time with my next door neighbor. Oftentimes she doesn't want me to leave. She just, I usually have something I'm in the middle of, or I don't know. But the last time I stayed with her like 4 or 5 hours. So yeah. But I don't think it has to be that much time, but just to check in on our neighbors and yeah, just make sure we're doing okay, all of us. It's a good practice. Okay, so then she goes, now I have spoken to you about the quality of free choice, decision in what you choose to bring you daily joy, but it is courageous to also have your joy and to say to the person who is not in joy, hey, what's going on? Let's restore this. Not to assume their burden or reality. And of course, this is related to all the blessings and virtues. It is related to compassion, to love, and truth. So compassion is the ability to be the observer without judgment. Love is love. And truth is that knowing that we're never alone and everything is in divine order. So everyone is guided. Everyone has guides. And everything is in divine order. So it makes perfect sense. And then she goes on, but so often you simply take a left turn and try to avoid, because this will not bring me joy, rather than seeing through it and also saying, we'd better fix this because it's going to affect all of our joy. So that is another element. And I'm glad you have brought it up. Joy is contagious. It is a strong viral energy, and it moves at lightning speed. And I was going to say too, it's also like if a family member is struggling, it's really a good idea to face into it and do the best we can. And sometimes it's like talking to the higher self too. Like if you can't do it in physicality, and she goes into a really simple way to talk to the higher self. It's not in this slide, in these slides, but we will get to it. And that came up when I was doing readings today, 4 times about talking to the higher self. Yeah. So, okay. So joy is contagious. It is a strong viral energy, and it moves at lightning speed. You know what that reminds me of too? Remember when the Divine or Universal Mother Mary said that when you're creating and you're in your joy, that joy goes to the other side of the planet. You remember when she said that? I think this is similar. I think this is maybe what it is, why it does this. And so she goes on, she says, the 3 of you have experienced this morning when one started to laugh and the 3 of you could not stop. It wasn't about anything. It was just the gladness of heart, the gladness of being, that you are together in the sacred undertaking of your mission and purpose. So that's a fun thing that happens when you just start laughing. When I was at the dentist a couple days ago, oh my goodness, the other hygienist kept coming in to make sure we were okay because we were laughing so hard. I don't know how she got my teeth cleaned. She kept telling me the most raucous stories, and I'm thinking to myself, who's in this room with me? Is this Archangel Gabriel telling these stories? And then at the very beginning when I was there, a television that wasn't supposed to change channels or change anything, it just flicked on and off. And so then I knew right from the start there was more in the room than met the eye. And then it was just the craziest dental appointment I've ever had. There was so much laughing going on. I don't know. I honestly don't know how she got my teeth cleaned. It was funny. Okay. So then Graham says, yes, indeed, you speak of unity consciousness. And I'm thinking about this is where we're headed. And this is what the higher dimensional beings do for one another. If one member of a community is going through a lower vibrational experience, others rally because they recognize how it does affect the collective. And I also do want to speak to the value and importance of healthy boundaries too. So let's say I'm in a relationship or someone's in a relationship and it's volatile and abusive. Certainly as we are letting go of the old third, some of us are experiencing these situations. I think it is important to stress you have got to take care of yourself too. I mean, you hold that person in love and joy and ask for the highest good, but certainly, like you said, don't assume their burden, don't assume their reality, extend compassion, love. And what Archangel Gabriel says, to acknowledge your right for joy. So there are times when the greatest gift is saying, we are not in joy, we are not creating and co-creating, this is not for our highest good. I love you, I bless you, and I release you to your joy, to find your joy, because obviously I am not giving it to you. I am not the catalyst for your joy, and you are not the catalyst for mine. So let us create distance so we can breathe and rediscover that joy and support each other, either actually or from a very far distance, in that rediscovery of joy. Yeah, Leanne.
I think that is so important, that whole page, because, you know, sometimes you can get confused in the sense of, you know, when someone, you know, is not for your highest good and, you know, what they're describing there basically. And then you're thinking, oh, well, is it me? You know, something that I need to look at, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes the lesson is just the boundary.
Yes.
And I think that piece is, yeah, very, very important.
I agree. Yeah. And then it's up to us to discern what's the best for us. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
go with that and just know that our guides are right behind us.
Yeah.
Helping us. Yeah.
My lesson, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was mine too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. And Graham says, I also wanted to speak to being in a high vibrational state, which includes being in joy. I've observed when I'm in joy, and I go through an exercise regularly where I put myself in joy, not unlike what you were recommending. Think of a memory or think of a connection I had. And he says, I'll probably think of the fun exchange that Linda and Suzanne and I had before the show, where I didn't think I could actually introduce the show without laughing. And that would have been great. That would have been fine. But when I'm in a state of joy, when I'm in a state of love and peace and calm, the lower vibrational qualities, they just can't stick to me. So worry, fear, doubt, those kinds of experiences or qualities, they're almost non-existent. And there's no other way to be. And Archangel Gabriel says they cannot coexist together. Think of joy as the flame that burns away fear or mistrust or lack. So you are correct in that they cannot coexist. So that's a really powerful statement to work on being in joy. And then once you get into that state, like, consistently, it's much easier. But at the beginning, it can take a bit of practice. Like the 15 minutes is a good idea every day. Okay. And then Graham says, as you think about the earth right now, can you give us a sense as Gaia has entered into the fifth dimension? So this is channeled 10 years ago. And we had reached that fifth dimensional state of being, the collective, 10 years ago. So we're probably, because there's 12 levels in each dimension, I think now we're in one of the higher levels of the fifth dimension, and we're in the sixth for sure, and we're touching the seventh, like pockets of Earth are touching the seventh. So just know this was channeled 10 years ago. So as Gaia has entered into the fifth dimension, and as her inhabitants have entered into the fifth dimension, what are you observing in terms of the state of joy? How has it improved over the last several months? And Archangel Gabriel says, it has improved dramatically. Now, even within that, you say, now I have been clearing and I have been dealing with old vasanas or issues or debris. And yes, dear hearts, you have been doing that for millions. So this goes back to, us affecting the collective. So if it seems like this clearing goes on and on, we are doing it on behalf of the collective. And she says, but why are you doing it? Because you are claiming your joy, and you're doing it not necessarily with a sense of drudgery or I have to mop this floor again, it's dirty. No, you are doing it in a way that is saying, I want this floor to shine brightly. I want it to be a wonderful mirror. I want to see if there's a speck of dirt on this floor, so I'm shining it up. And Gaia is in joy. She is singing to the planets in her galaxy. She is shining brightly. So if it feels like we're just doing it over and over, it's probably collective work at this point. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And Graham says, that is so wonderful to hear, and I'm not surprised. I remember when we were connecting with Gaia some time ago, and she was talking about the despair that she was feeling with the state of what she had been experiencing, the neglect, the abuse. This is shortly after the Gulf oil spill. To hear that is so joyful, how wonderful. And Archangel Gabriel, you have need to know that Gaia's joy, the joy of the kingdoms, of the devas, of the mountains, of the trees, that is contagious as well. So go out and dance on the skin of Gaia. Touch her, touch your plants, your flowers, your trees, your snow, your water, and let that joy be communicated to your very core. Let it act as a catalyst, as an expander. She is waiting for you. And that's a testament to be outside in nature as much as we can, and to get that reflection from nature, their joy and our joy. So it's like an infinity sign that goes back and forth. And in the law of balance, I think it was, or maybe it's the one coming up. Oh no, it's the law of give and receive that SK is going to explain. How the plants give their gratitude to Gaia, and then Gaia sends it back. That's the payment that happens between the two of them that keeps everything going. It's gratitude. So us going out and being in that, feeling the energy of the plants, their gratitude is beautiful. Okay. So then Graham says, Archangel Gabriel, what's bringing you the most joy in this moment of now? And Archangel Gabriel says, the Divine Mother coming forward and making her presence more and more clearly known upon the planet. I am the messenger, you know, for the Council of Love. And so often those messages have not been as fully received. Now the Mother speaks to you of how to bring forth your new world, your new self, the quality of creation, how it works. This brings me joy because not only does the Mother speak and you overflow with joy, but because you are listening, because you are acting, because you're moving and saying, oh yes, I remember, I'm supposed to feel good. And Graham says, remembering who we are. Oh yeah, feeling good. That's all we have to do. Feel good. And if the old stuff comes up, then just eliminate it as quick as possible by invoking the law of elimination or asking how it's connected to the past. And, you know, there's lots of techniques to do that quite quickly. Oh, and here's mine. Be like a tree. Okay, so this is where I go into how to quickly release old energy. And what I realized when I was doing this little picture here, a tree automatically receives the light. That's what they do. They just hold their branches out, and the sunlight is automatically incorporated into who they are. So this is what we need to remember too. Just open to receive the light. So open your crown, receive the light, and in that is all the knowing we need, in that beautiful light that comes into us. So another good reason to be out in the sunlight. Yes, Darren.
Yeah, it's also useful to be out in the sunlight under a tree, because then you get the energy of the tree as well as the sun combined.
Yeah, and the greenness of the tree and the strength. So everything that a tree emanates, which is pure love and community, because the trees are all in community. And the other thing that I realize about trees, a birch tree is not a cedar tree. It is not a willow tree. They understand their purpose. A birch tree's purpose is to be a birch tree. And so us too, like our purpose is embedded within us. So the more we go into the heart space and feel that, that's like, it's right there. So it's funny, the more I started contemplating tree, it just made more and more sense. Okay, so this is me explaining what happened just like 2 days ago. So recently a family member came to me extremely triggered by an event that happened a long time ago. We had a phone conversation followed by an email. In my reply to the email, I was able to reiterate and explain how I have managed change, so not to react to external events in the present now. So being like a tree, standing back, being the observer. So studying the solar plexus chakra, the fifth dimension, and the divine quality of joy with Archangel Gabriel clarifies how to do this. Archangel Gabriel's wisdom and that of the host, Graham, and my conversation with family relates to remembering who we truly are, the internal state of constant joy, gratitude for life purpose. So this is part of my reply to the email. And I said, the way I learned in meditation from my circle to eliminate triggers quite rapidly was to ask, how is this situation I'm externally concerned about connected to my past? So you can do this with inner work as like inner triggers, but usually inner triggers are connected to the external. So it's usually the same. The next step, sit still, to heart listen to guidance. So always ask the question and then sit still and drop into the heart and listen with the heart so we can get the understandings from our guidance, because it's hard to get it if we're sitting upstairs in the mind, because the mind is like a monkey. So drop into the heart and with patience listen. And my guidance has over and over told me the triggers represent something in self to look at. And in this instance, it was about abuse of power. And that can be an overriding theme here because, you know, we get triggered when we think about the past and we're complaining and blaming, and usually it's some kind of abuse of power. And so the question to ask is, what figure in the past abused power? Because if that's the trigger, the external, oh, somebody abused power, then why is it triggering us? So then we ask, how is it connected? And I just ask, what figure in the past abused power? And usually that's the person to do the work around. And the work I learned is forgiveness and to always bring it back to the self. Because again, the trigger represents someone who is unforgivable or some action that is unforgivable. But we've all been involved in other lifetimes with unforgivable actions, abuse of power. So the trigger tends to be actually a reflection of self. So forgiveness of the situation, the person, but then bring it back to forgiveness of self, because it's usually a mirror. And then just to say, I am forgiveness. So you do the whole situation and then bring it back to self as well, is what I've found. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about that?
Oh, that makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. So, oh, I've got a beautiful big beetle flying around in here. Just dropped. Wink. Okay, so yeah. So it's usually a mirror. A trigger is usually a mirror of what's going on in the self. Hi, Steve.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
Well,
So yeah, just bring it back. And forgiveness heals, apologies heal. So just the more we're in that space of knowing everything is forgiven, the Divine Mother and Father One, they forgive everything. There is no judgment in the higher realms. And that's what we're anchoring into our being. So forgiveness of the situation, the person, and bring it back to self. And then, are you reading it, Steve? No.
No, am I supposed to be reading it?
No. I'm on to the next. Okay. So then the next part is to neutralize the energy even more with compassion, which is the non-judgment, because truly we do not have the wisdom to judge anyone. Nearly every one of us on planet has abused power in this or other lifetimes. So then to bring compassion and using I am is very powerful, because that aligns us with our universal self. So we're aligning with the divine qualities, the blessings, virtues. In this case, first it was forgiveness to create the peace within. Now it's compassion for the love. And I often say, pretend to be like a tree. a tree quietly observes everything and is not attached to drama within or without, and is nicely rooted to the planet in community with the other trees. So that speaks to facing into what's not working, like Archangel Gabriel said, for the creation of community. And just remember, a tree automatically receives light. So we're always opening to receive. Within the light is all these understandings that I'm talking about. We are moving as we ascend to the higher dimensions into community, remembering our love and kindness for everyone, just as we are in the higher realms. So Ken, you brought up, what was the saying you said? No harm, no foul. Is that what you said? Yeah. So no harm to self, no harm extended to anyone else, whether it's words or feelings, whatever. And that brings us into community. And this is what Lao Tzu taught us, with humility, being in gratitude for each other. It's embedded within all the blessings and virtues, this gratitude for self and for each other. And that's what creates community. And even the people that are abusing power, they're just playing their role to get us to neutrality within ourselves. So we are like a tree. The final part is to find the gratitude for the situation. And how do we find gratitude for abuse of power? Yes, Ken.
I think the point of no harm, no foul is also the absence of guilt.
Yes. Absolutely. Yep. So bring it to neutral, neutralize the guilt, because that's part of control, part of abuse of power. Yep. Steve?
It's interesting that you say about gratitude.
Yeah.
Because you know how long I've been wrestling with my father, right? And it wasn't until I saw the benefit of something that he did, that at last I felt gratitude.
Yeah.
And could let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he awakened the martial side of myself.
Yeah, and gratitude is connected to joy. So the more we're in gratitude, the more we're in joy. Yeah.
Access to joy, yeah.
Yeah. And gratitude for learning what doesn't work here. Yet again, we really learned well. We've like Archangel Yophael said, we're awesome at creating what doesn't work. We've done a great job. So be grateful to yourself. We did a great job. And now be grateful that we're moving into peace, into the zone of peace. And it's peace within ourselves that creates peace on the planet. So forgiveness of the past, forgiveness of all the lifetimes, forgiveness. If you're super triggered by something that's happening in the without, it's probably because we have been connected to something similar in another lifetime. Oh, this beetle is having a grand old time. It's very distracting. Okay. All right. So then these ones we are blaming are our greatest teachers. We are blaming, being triggered to bring the forgiveness back to the self. We are gratitude, joy for our greatest teachers, our triggers, the ones we point the finger at and blame, because we are getting closer to who we truly are. The joy, the love, thank you. So just thanking yourself for these triggers coming up, because it's a way to remember who we truly are. The letting go, the letting go, the letting go. Okay, and then saying I am gratitude, joy for. So the three of them is I'm forgiveness, I'm compassion, I'm gratitude for ascension, receiving the light, and be like a tree. So it's a simple way to let go. Yeah, Leanne.
Also, the triggers are usually related to inner child things, right, that we haven't dealt with. So it's almost like we're going back in to heal that inner self, in our inner child. And then once that situation is healed, then, you know, you don't get triggered by it anymore.
Exactly.
It'll
And
play-
the inner child is usually hurt because there's been abuse of power.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
trauma. Yeah.
Trauma. Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely trauma. And in that memory, right? That memory of that trauma will just trigger, you
Mhm.
know, something. And once you've healed that trauma or that memory, even that memory of that trauma,
Mhm.
then like I have these things where I'll give you an example. My mom tried to kill herself, and I came home from school at lunch to have lunch, and she was on the ground, passed out. And so that was a huge trauma trigger for me. And now I can talk about it, I can think about it, and it doesn't, there's nothing there anymore. It has nothing, no control over me anymore, because I went in and I healed. I mean, it took a lot of time, but
Yeah. So
healed it. And
you neutralize the energy around it.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
did you use forgiveness? Did you use compassion? Did you use gratitude? Like,
I would say at the time, maybe not gratitude, but definitely compassion and forgiveness for sure.
Yeah.
And just healing the whole, that child that walked in and was alone, and, you know, that loneliness and that not knowing what to do with this adult who was supposed to be the role model. And, you know,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Wow, you are courageous. Thank you for being here. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, good work. Really good work. And Ken?
I don't know, the phrase that popped into my mind is be like Mike.
Be like Mike, like Archangel Michael.
Yes.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. Because he is all of these. He is peace, which is knowing, understanding the forgiveness of everything. He's compassion. He's joy. Yes, exactly. And he's the warrior of love, archangel of truth. He's truth, peace, and love, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Be like Mike. Mm-hmm.
Simple
And he's
trigger.
always standing back too, because they're not allowed to interfere, really. The other side isn't, unless we ask for help, they're not. I was climbing up the blinds. They're not allowed to interfere. So they're often like a tree, like the beings on the other side. And they're just sending love. They're blessing us constantly. So if we can be like that, we turn ourselves into lighthouses and just send that love out to the planet. It does come back to us and help us be greater and greater joy and peace and love. It expands us. So just know you can quickly get through a trigger, you know, just by asking how it's connected to the past and neutralizing the energy with forgiveness. Like healing is love, is all the divine qualities, basically.
And creation.
Yeah, creating. There's no difference between healing and creation, because every creation is a healing. And that's the gold and the green energy. And in the green is everything. Because green, it just, love is everything. Okay. And this is just a reminder that Graham said joy is who we are. And then about the Lion King and the young cub who goes off to a far land. There's struggle and confusion. He's disconnected from who he really is. This is us. And at one point he looks into the water, which is the mother, and his father, played by James Earl Jones, Mufasa, King of the Lions, who's passed over, comes through in a big booming voice, and he says, remember who you are. And it's a beautiful moment for the cub who has been growing, stopping to pause, to reflect, and to connect with who he really is. Interesting that it's the water, because that's the mother energy. Like the cub, many of us have been living in this illusion. We've been in a play, we've been in our own story, And we're connecting more and more to who we really are. And joy is such an integral part of who we are. I'm thinking about how many times I don't feel joyful, all kinds of reasons to think this is a struggle, this is a challenge. And yet, if I reframe my thinking, neutralize the past, and remember my natural state is joy. Yes, Steve.
Excuse me. To say, remember who you are. On the 12th of June, when I realized, I guess is the word, what Michael was wanting from me,
Mhm.
at that moment, I had this experience that's being described in this, it was like a gestalt, just boom, I got who he was talking to, who he wanted to be talking to.
Yeah.
Just exactly like what is described here.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And thank you. And Ken?
I sometimes have to fight, what's the word I'm looking for here? Being tired and fatigued and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just like I run out of energy,
Yes.
and it's hard to distinguish between whether I'm really tired or not, or if it's just my blood sugar.
Mhm.
So I guess my way out of this is to eat something and see what happens.
Yes, absolutely. And having the awareness, that's like before you just kept saying, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. Now you've connected it to the blood sugar. So good work. And then, yeah. And then just ask, how is this connected to the past? This exhaustion is always connected to the past. And it's probably something to do with abuse of power somewhere.
My abuse of power or somebody abusing?
Well, somebody abusing you, but then bring it back to forgiveness of yourself, because in other lifetimes, it may be connected to you abusing power. We've all abused power here. And that's what we're afraid to look at. We think we're unforgivable, but just know the mother forgives everything. We've all pretty much abused power here in other lifetimes. And it's just getting to the point where it's like, oh, okay, that was that experience. I learned so much. Grateful for your courage to be here and experience that. So we would get to this lifetime and not judge anyone. Just know, okay, that's their experience they're having, but we're all here to ascend together. And this is facing into people, facing into the issues everyone's having, whether it's our neighbor, because it could help us in some way. Because what our neighbor's going through, we could be going through without realizing it.
I don't know how this relates, but the thing that popped into my head was Lil and I were, I don't know if I want to say wise men or teachers or something like that. It was about 500 AD, and the village that we were living in decided that we were scapegoats for whatever was wrong. And so they basically backed us into a point where we slipped off this mountain or hill or ridge or something like that to our deaths. And so being able
the work is, can you forgive the people that did that to you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, beautiful. And then be compassionate, because maybe in another lifetime you did the same to someone. Like, I'm not saying you did, but we've all done crazy stuff here. And then just to be that gratitude for yourself. So the forgiveness, the compassion, the gratitude, do it for the situation and bring it back to self.
Right.
Yeah. And then that neutralizes the energy, and it should bring up your energy into joy rather than it being exhaustion connected to sorrow, connected to, you know, past life stuff. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, okay, good. All right, so we are at the 45-minute mark. Shall we just send out this, my natural state is joy, out to the planet? Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I will set the timer. And we'll do that. Okay, okay, everyone enjoy and practice being a lighthouse. Okay, see you all in 10 minutes, and you can put yourself on mute if you want. Okay. There we go. That was our 10 minutes. And Steve's done. Okay, he's had another appointment. This beetle in here is very distracting. It's climbing up the blinds again. Okay, well that was fun. Wow. I had a bunch of like things come in my mind, but in the reading room today, I do readings for a woman who has a young granddaughter that's autistic. And today into the reading room came one of the beings looking after her, like not the grandmother, but and when we figured out who she was and how I was connected, it was pretty extraordinary. So this is Archangel Gabriel bringing us all together to help with the healing of this 10-year-old autistic girl. And there's been big changes, but there's a whole group of us that are surrounding this young child. And it's old belief systems, it's family patterns, it's incredible. And then another reading, another one that happened, it was a young girl in their 20s, and she has struggled with anxiety all her life. Today, she's been to see me twice now, and this time we went right back. I kept asking her what happened to her mom when she was in the womb, and she said her grandmother died, so the mom's mom died a few weeks before the child was born. It was 9/11, and she had a C-section. No wonder she struggles with anxiety. So when we got to that, when she figured that out, it was like, whoosh, all of a sudden it lifted. So awareness really can set us free. It's just getting in deep and asking the questions. Keep asking, how is this connected to the past? Because we all know, and our guides really know, and they can feed us the information. And they can feed us the information about the past lives. Any trigger in this lifetime is obviously connected to this lifetime, but probably connected to other lifetimes. So just keep asking why, and get in deep, deep, deep. And before you know it, you'll be in joy.
Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. And I've got my daughter coming right now, so I'm gonna have to get going too.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to Canadians.
Yeah.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yes, same to both of you. Yeah. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. I'm going to be giving thanks to Gaia too.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm here doing that right now.
Awesome. Yeah.
Enjoy. Okay.
I
Thank
will.
you.
Okay.
Night.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna message Jojo because I think she's sitting outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where she is. She just messaged though. Says let me know when you're done. Yeah.
So she's probably not far then.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
it was such an interesting day today.
yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like you're getting more and more interesting readings now, all the time.
They're always interesting, but today it was just nonstop right from the beginning, and people that knew me coming back for more readings, new people, like it was such a beautiful day. I'm so grateful to Archangel Gabriel. She really created a beauty.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she's a powerful archangel, so, she can do that for you.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta go help Jojo. She's outside. She's bringing up stuff.
Okay. Well, you have yourself a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Enjoy all the dinners you're going to enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care. And yeah, my thanks to you for all you do.
Thank you. Same for you. Same to you. Thank you.
Yep, this is great. Okay, well, you take care and we'll see you on Monday probably. Eh?
Awesome. Yep, I'll be here.
You gonna be there on Monday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll be there too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be here or home, but I'll be somewhere
Okay.
where I get on. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay.
Okay. Have a good night. Eh?
Yeah, you too. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.